This is William K. Murtaugh, Witness 1, and today is a day of reckoning for Field McConnell. Field McConnell appeared in court and was granted a $100,000 cash bond. Now, a $100,000 cash bond is pretty significant, and it's very unlikely that Field McConnell is going to be able to make that. And secondary to that, Field McConnell would have to wear a GPS. Field McConnell cannot go on the internet at all, which means that if Field McConnell makes one of his telephone calls and Eager Beaver or somebody puts it up on the air, Field McConnell will be right back in jail. And if he's in jail and makes these calls, he's even in worse trouble. So I'm going to be curious to see what the next step is going to be. The one thing I did notice is that Field McConnell was going to try and do his alternative law stuff in the court and was summarily shut down. So, any chance of Field McConnell getting to do that is going to have to wait until the next steps in the process. Now, I believe that Mr. McConnell is going to be back in court tomorrow to enter his plea and so on and so forth. And it is at that time we're going to find out what his strategy, if there is such a thing, is going to be. Now, it appears that Field McConnell is going to represent himself. He has no attorney of record. None is on the court docket at this time. So, Field McConnell apparently has not absorbed the reality of his situation. He's simply going to go on with this nonsensical way of doing things until it finally hits home. Until the court says, look, Mr. McConnell, this is what's going to happen. And Mr. McConnell is going to find out that he is going to have to shape up, that he's going to have to grow up. And while we're at it, let's get to the charge. Now, he was hit with one charge of felony cyberstalking. That's bad enough. I know people are wondering why the other two charges weren't included. Well, there's a simple reason. I alluded to it briefly online. But what is going to happen, most likely, is that he is going to get tried on the one charge. Now, just like in the Timothy Holmseth case, there is a possibility that he's going to get hit with the other two charges. That Field McConnell is going to be tried on charge number one. He's going to get adjudicated. If he's adjudicated guilty, he's going to serve his time. At some point, he might get tried on the second charge, get adjudicated, serve his time, and then get tried on the third charge, get adjudicated, and serve his time. That's a possibility. I'm going to check on that. But here's the thing. This is the start of a very long process. Field McConnell, one way or another, is going to be under the thumb of Broward County. Now, it is very, very, very unlikely that Field McConnell can post this $100,000 cash bond. Now, even if somebody out there, a bondsman or what have you, can post a $100,000 cash bond, Field McConnell has to come up with the fee. And the fee is going to be anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000 cash. And possibly more. Because this is a cash bond. This isn't a surety bond that you normally put up. This is a cash bond. These things are expensive. It's expensive for the bondsman. It's expensive for Field McConnell. Because not only does Field McConnell have to shell out thousands of dollars in cash, he's got to come up with collateral. He's got to sign over $100,000 worth of his property, whether it be his cars, his buildings, or what have you. He's got to sign something over to the bondsman worth $100,000 in order to get this bond. You know, you're not going to take $10,000, $20,000 into a bondsman, slap it down, and he's going to give you a bond with no collateral. Because if you jump bail and decide to go off to Canada and maybe shake hands with Eager Beaver or something, the bondsman is going to be stuck with that $100,000. So he's going to want your ass, and he's going to come after your ass. Bondsman, number one, is going to keep track of you. He's going to have access to that GPS monitor, so he's going to know where you are at all times. Everybody's going to know where you are at all times. There's not going to be able to be any of these secret meetings because you're going to have that little ankle bracelet on. And another thing, that ankle bracelet ain't free. You're going to have to pay for that. There's a fee that's imposed by the court for putting on that ankle bracelet. So if and when Field McConnell gets his ankle bracelet, he's going to be notified that he's got to pay for it. And something else, where's Field McConnell going to go if he gets out on bail? Is he going to go back to Wisconsin? How the hell is he going to get there? You know, is somebody going to send him money for an airplane ticket? So you got that to consider. Is somebody going to send Field McConnell money for an apartment? Maybe his female administrator there, the one that Field McConnell says doesn't speak for him, is she going to allow him to stay in her condo in Florida? That would be fun, considering where it is. You know, he's got to be able to get back and forth to court. So how's he going to manage all this? See, it's going to be a very expensive time for Field McConnell money-wise. Because, number one, he's going to spend another night in jail, no matter what. At least one more night. He's going to enter his plea. At that time, the court may set another date, trial date, hearing date. You know, that process starts. And I'm sure Field McConnell is going to start doing his Perry Mason Act and start filing paperwork. And so all that is going to be in a database that I'm going to start as soon as I get organized, probably Friday or Saturday. We'll see. I've been hit with a situation where I'm going to be pretty damn busy for the next few weeks. But hopefully I can get the time to get some stuff taken care of as far as this case is concerned. Getting organized, getting files up, maybe get a BitChute that you can all have access to. Although a lot of you out there are doing a pretty darn good job of gathering information. I was beat to the punch on putting the video up of Field McConnell's arraignment. I'm grateful that got put up because I wasn't able to stay online long enough to see his appearance. So we got him up there, got him. Everybody now knows that Field McConnell did not get a pardon from Governor DeSantis. He didn't get any clemency from DeSantis or from President Trump, for that matter. So that lie got exposed. Because, as I say time and again, when I talk about Phil McConnell, and by extension Tim Homestead, is if President Trump was in any way, shape, or form associated with Phil McConnell would not be in jail. He would not have been arrested in October. It would be all these people that Phil McConnell accused of this stuff that would be in jail. Otherwise, Phil McConnell, Tim Holmseth, and all these other supporters of these two are saying that Donald J. Trump is such a weak president, he can't even get his allies out of jail. That the so-called big deep state out there is keeping the Pentagon Pedophile Task Force from doing its job because Donald J. Trump is powerless to do anything about it. Is this what these people are trying to represent? Are they saying that they've got a president of the United States that can't even get a retired pilot out of jail? That's an insult to the President of the United States to claim something like that. But that seems to be what's going on here. Because President Trump has done absolutely nothing to help Phil McConnell. Not a damn thing. Donald J. Trump has a lot of billionaire friends. And some billionaire friend of Donald Trump could step forward and hire Phil McConnell, the best lawyer in the world. Speaking of the world, where's the postmaster? Is the postmaster going to start coming down to Florida to defend Phil McConnell? Is the postmaster of the world going to file paperwork to get Phil McConnell out of jail? I don't know. He sure ran away in a hurry because of Randy Erickson, according to things that I've read online, that Randy Erickson didn't do a damn thing to help him out. So where are we at on that one? I mean, what is the situation here, folks? The situation basically is that Phil McConnell found himself screwed, and he found himself screwed big time. Phil McConnell is in pretty big trouble. Phil McConnell is looking at jail time. Now, at this point, it's hard to tell because right now he's only got one charge against him. Now, maybe that one charge, that one stint in jail, will be enough to teach Phil McConnell a lesson, and he'll curb his behavior. He may go back to some of this other nonsense that he's been doing. The pitiful pedophile task force, all this other stuff. But I have a feeling that we're going to no longer hear the name Kim Picazio on the field report. I think he's done with that one. I think that is the sole value here. The goal wasn't to have Phil McConnell in jail for 10, 20, or 30 years. The goal was to have Phil McConnell shut the hell up. And that's been accomplished. Because now Kim can live in relative peace knowing that Phil McConnell is not going to bother him anymore, or bother her anymore. That no matter what happens with this case, Phil McConnell is going to drop the KP subject. Everybody else seems to have. And it's rather funny. If Phil McConnell had simply kept his mouth shut way back in October, when he was told to leave the woman alone, he wouldn't be in this situation right now. He'd be out there shooting his mouth off, talking about Zim bonds and autopilots and trillion-dollar lawsuits and all this other baloney. He would not be sitting in a county jail 1,700 miles from his house trying to figure out how the hell he's going to come up with $100,000 and have to live with the fact that for the next several months, he's got to live without the internet. Because he can't have a computer, he can't have any device in his possession that has access to the internet. Nothing. Not a smartphone, not a PC, nothing. And that's even if he pulls off the magic act of getting out of jail. And this also means that people cannot speak on his behalf. He can't call Eager Beaver and say, this is a message I want you to get out, and Eager Beaver gets on the internet on the field report with another spokesperson and talks on Field's behalf. He can't do that. He's screwed. And every day that Phil McConnell does not get on the internet to spew his propaganda is another day that people are going to start moving away. People are going to drift away. And you can gauge that by the comment section on the field report, and you can gauge it on the various websites where Field is known. The Facebook pages of individuals that discuss Field in the various other locations. And you're going to find over time that Field's not going to be mentioned anymore. I'll probably mention Field McConnell more than anybody on the internet for the time being. But this is the downhill slide that I told everybody about months ago, way back in October. I told you people, Field McConnell had crossed the line. Field McConnell got hit with felonies. Everybody said, oh no, the postmaster of the world is going to get him out of this mess. Kirk Pendergrass is going to get him out of this mess. This person and that person's going to get him out of this mess. The President of the United States is going to get him out of this mess. Governor DeSantis is going to get Field McConnell out of this mess. And look at where Field McConnell is now. Field McConnell is sitting in the Broward County Jail, finding out that he's got a hell of a problem. Now, who the hell is Field McConnell going to call to get that $100,000? Good question. Now, there's services down there, you know, that'll come in and say, well, I'll do this, but this is what it's going to cost you. And this is what I got to have before we even talk going any further. It's going to get very, very, very expensive for Field McConnell. Now, he stands about a 70% or 70% chance of not making bail. See, you can get bail, a half expected bail. But if you would listen to these court cases in Florida, you'd understand that a $100,000 cash bond is a significant condition for release. I have seen cases down in Broward County on this very channel that aired his situation where they were getting $5,000 bonds. You know, some of these added up to $7,500. But nowhere did I hear someone getting a $100,000 bond. Usually, you're getting up into murder cases, armed robbery, stuff like that, where you get into a $100,000 bond. Bill McConnell got a $100,000 bond because he shot off his damn mouth. If you look at it, $100,000. That's a lot of money. That's about 5 years of Social Security for me. Maybe a little bit less. About 4 to 5 years Social Security. Because, you know, I'll do roughly the math in my head. It's about 7 years Social Security. Every dime of it. People out there making the minimum wage, that's a pretty good long time to come up with 10, you know, that's $100,000, pretty big chunk of change. Now, Phil McConnell has one car in his collection that would be collateral for that kind of bond. But that's at the retail level. The wholesale level, if they were to take those cars as collateral, he'd probably have to sign over his entire car collection to the bail bondsman along with some other stuff to meet the bond. And the problem is the IRS. See, Phil McConnell owes money to the Internal Revenue Service. This has nothing to do with his house. He's had enough problems with the house. He's probably going to lose that. But he owes money to the Internal Revenue Service. And when the bail bondsman or whoever comes forward to offer this $100,000 cash bond is going to find out that Phil McConnell's got a big IRS levy in the thousands of dollars. So this means that Phil McConnell is going to have a bit of a hard time coming up. Not only with the collateral for the cash bond, but the fee. Because $100,000 cash bonds aren't free. You got to pay for them. If you don't come up with $100,000 out of your own pocket to give to the judge, you got to pay somebody a fee for providing that money. It's kind of like a bank loan. So who's going to come up with all this money? Is Randy going to take out her checkbook and cut a $20,000 check to a bondsman? Who the hell is going to come up with the bond fee? This is going to be interesting to watch because this has got to be done pretty quick. Because Ian McConnell cannot leave jail until the bond is posted. It's just not, okay, we're imposing a $100,000 bond, sign this piece of paper, and have a nice day. No, you got to have all this. You got to have the money and all the forms and everything in the court before you get released. So I would love to know who's going to come up with this kind of money to help out Phil McConnell. Nobody was around to buy Phil McConnell a competent lawyer. They went and got the postmaster of the world instead. You know, if this is the kind of stuff that these people are going to do to try and get Phil McConnell out of jail, then the bond is not going to do any good. It ain't happening. So anybody out there that's wondering about the bond and worried that Phil McConnell's going to get out, I wouldn't worry too much. Because Phil McConnell's not going anywhere. I will be very surprised if within the next week Phil McConnell walks out of the Broward County Jail. It's possible. But I'd be surprised. Because who in the hell out there is willing to spend that kind of money on Phil McConnell? Because he's damaged goods now. Now, it would have to be what you would call a true believer, someone that really believes in the cause, that believes that Phil McConnell was actually railroaded and all that. It would be those kind of people that would get Phil McConnell out of his situation. It would be those people to file the paperwork and to come up with the money. See, in the end, it boils down to money. Whoever wants to reach into that back pocket of theirs and pull out the money to get Phil McConnell out of this mess. Because the bond is only the beginning. There's other expenses that are going to be there. Because, like I said, you post a $100,000 bond for Phil McConnell to get out, he's going to have that little bracelet on. And this is something I don't know, and I would have to check on this one. Because is Phil McConnell going to be allowed to leave the state of Florida wearing a GPS? That'd be an interesting question. Is Phil McConnell going to be able to go anywhere in the state of Florida with that GPS? Or is he going to be confined to a radius around Broward County? Because it sounds to me, listening to that the judge may not have been aware that this is an out-of-state resident. Because, in other cases I've heard come before the judge, the thing that came up is some of these people were from out of state. And that was one of the conditions they set for bond. And yet, for whatever reason, they just decided to give this guy a $100,000 bond. That's kind of scratching my head at that one. But I'm not so worried about the $100,000 bond because, like I said, that's a tough road to hoe. $100,000 is not chump change. It's pretty good sum of money. That's a lot of dineros to pull out of your hat. So, that's going to be one of these things that remains to be seen. But our little adventure is starting now. Because we've had the bond hearing today. Tomorrow's going to be the arraignment. And that's when things are going to start. Arraignments aren't that long. It's one of the reasons that I'm not down there right now is because it's brief. As brief as this was. I can get in, there's means that I can go through to get that information about how the arraignment's going to work. But nothing is going to be decided tomorrow. The case isn't going to be suddenly dismissed and Bill McConnell walks. The arraignment is where a plea is going to be entered, arguments might be made, discussions may take place, but it's not going to be very long. Neil McConnell's going to find out his next court date, trial date, the next step. And then it's going to be okay, next case. And that'll be the end of Phil McConnell tomorrow for the time being. He will either have posted bail or not. If he gets bonded out, it's going to be part of the court record. And what's going to be in the court record is who bonded him out. Who put up the bail? Did he put it up? Did Denise put it up? Did one of these handlers put it up? Who put up the bail? I know one person that won't put up the bail. Tim Holmseth. He ain't got 2 quarters to rub together. He ain't gonna put up no bail. And speaking of Tim Holmseth, guess who hasn't been talking about Phil too much lately? Tim Holmseth. He's going after Greg Sawyer. He don't have time for Bill McConnell. He's already moved on to his nemesis that he's had for a long time, and that's Mr. Sawyer. He's this vets or whatever it is. I can't remember right now, but he's going after Greg Sawyer. Bill McConnell's been left in the dust. And it's just like I said. Tim Holmseth, he cuts his losses and moves on. Bill McConnell's a lost cause as far as Tim Holmseth is concerned. Now, he might come up with something every once in a while saying he's praying for Field or this, that, or the other thing, but I don't think we're going to hear too much about Phil McConnell from Tim Holmseth. Tim Holmseth is counting his lucky stars. He had a close call. As long as Tim Holmseth keeps his nose clean, avoids the state of Minnesota, he's scot-free. He can go sightseeing he can go to Trump rallies, he can have some quality time with his new girlfriend. female companion, whatever the relationship is there. Just don't get her pissed off and get her near a Glock. You know, if you see a Glock in the top drawer of your bedside table, I'd worry. But, you know, he's hanging around with a woman that's had active experience with a Glock. Got himself an Annie Oakley, a Bonnie. Tim Holseth ain't no Clyde. I don't think they're ever going to wind up on a country road with holes shot up in a fast Ford Roadster. So, Tim Holmseth is going to be taking pictures under signs, taking pictures snuggled up on a couch maybe, or what have you, if he takes any pictures at all. And he's going to fade away in the distance. And the headliner for the next few months is going to be Phil McConnell. Phil McConnell, I don't know how much of a news story he's going to be, because you can only talk about Phil McConnell so much. You know, there's going to be people that are going to be mad that he's in jail, mad that he's in trial, mad that he's this, that, and the other thing. But in the end, there's not a damn thing anybody can do about it. You know, it's going to be up to a jury in the end. Because if he asks for a bench trial, it's going to be all over. But if he gets a jury trial, he might stand a little bit of a chance. But it's when that jury trial takes place. He's got a long ways to go. And if in the likely event that he cannot make bail, he's going to be spending all that time in jail. Now, if Phil McConnell does a stupid thing and decides he's going to be his own lawyer, and he starts his sovereign crap, then he's screwed. He'll basically be writing himself a prison sentence. Because people that have gone pro se in the state of Florida have not had a very good track record. I can't think of one case where somebody representing themselves in court in a case of this magnitude has prevailed. You know, Phil McConnell gets up there and starts complaining that he's in dry dock or some other nonsense. The judge is going to set him straight in a quick hurry. Florida courts have had a lot of experience with sovereigns, with alternative law advocates, and they're not going to put up with it. Now, I would suspect that Kirk Pendergrass is going to try and cash in on this little enterprise. And he's going to start filing paperwork and all this other stuff, even though he doesn't speak for Phil McConnell. Phil McConnell has made that clear, that Kirk Pendergrass does not speak for Phil McConnell. So Phil McConnell is an unwanted hanger-on to all this. And so Kirk Pendergrass might get sanctioned by the court, might get prosecuted. Who knows? You know, this is not a time for people to think, woe with me that Phil McConnell got this $100,000 bond. Because that doesn't guarantee he's going to get out of jail. And you won't see Phil McConnell waving guns on the internet anymore because he's not allowed to have any firearms. His Second Amendment rights just went out the window. Yeah, the Second Amendment people might have a burr up their ass about that one, but that happens to be the law. And, people, now it's out there for the public to see just exactly what Phil McConnell is charged with. And I'm not talking about all his supporters, I'm talking about the public. Because there's people that follow these cases that have nothing to do with the disputed parties. And, they don't know Kim from a hole in the ground, they don't know Phil from a hole in the ground, but they're going to tune in and they're going to see that somebody in court on Monday, February 24, 2020, got hit with a $100,000 bond, which is probably the highest bond that was set today in a case appearing before this judge. And they're going to, who the hell is this guy to get a $100,000 bond? And they're going to start reading up, and they're going to say, what an asshole. And so Phil McConnell's reputation is going to go south even worse. Because this is all public record now. This is going to follow Phil McConnell around for the rest of his life. That he got charged with a felony. He had to come up with a $100,000 bond. And he sat in jail for over 3 months waiting for trial. And then, it's going to be, somebody could put up a WikiLeaks. And it's going to have that footnote about Phil McConnell. Got slapped with a $100,000 bond for stalking a woman. A woman he never knew, never met, but he stalked her anyway. He's going to be labeled a bully, a weirdo, all kinds of things. Of course, he has been already, but he's going to be doing so by the general public. His fellow pilots. Some pilot that may have known Phil McConnell when he was with the airline. And I say, well, God, what the hell happened to Phil? Man, he really has gone downhill. So he's going to be an embarrassment to a lot of people that aren't part of all this political nonsense. So he's paying a huge price for what he's done. A huge price. And he probably doesn't care. He's got the cause. He's been so brainwashed over the decade or so he's been involved with this crap that he doesn't care. He really believes in this stuff. And if he has to fall on the sword or whatever, he's just going to stick to his guns no matter what the outcome is. And the outcome is probably going to be that Phil McConnell's going to jail for a long, long time. Now, there's no guarantees. Phil McConnell could be adjudicated not guilty. Phil McConnell may decide to enter a nolo, throw himself on the mercy of the court, get time served, and get shipped back to Wisconsin. Hard to say. But I think in the end he's going to get convicted, and he's going to be hit with a couple of years, 2 to 5. No credit for time served out of Wisconsin. He might get time served out of Florida. But it's unlikely the time in Minnesota is going to count because he was just being held. He wasn't arrested by the state of Florida yet. He was held on an extradition request. Now, Phil McConnell had said, all right, I'll go down to Florida and I'll fight it. He might be in a better position today than he is now. He could have started the process a lot earlier. And he might be, today is the day he might have been going on trial instead of appearing in a bond hearing. This is just one result of a bad decision that Phil McConnell made. For Phil McConnell decided that he wanted to be the big shot lawyer and fight all this. And he made a tragic mistake. Made a tragic mistake that's going to cost him. Cost him big. As far as what's going to happen here, I will not be going down to Florida or down to Fort Lauderdale until the actual trial. If it's possible and there's a significant hearing that comes up prior to that, I may try and go down earlier. But tomorrow is going to be a brief appearance. Probably half hour at the most, if it's even that long. Usually these things take about 15 minutes. And prior to the trial, there's usually preliminary hearings. And then if the trial isn't continued, I'll be going down there for the actual trial. And that's where we'll see Field McConnell up close and personal. And I'll know after talking to the court administrators down there what exactly I can and cannot do as far as covering the case. I'm still working on those details. But at the very least, I'll be sitting in that courtroom, and then I'll do a stand-up right after court's adjourned to give you an insight as to what's going on. But as it stands right now, we've got a minimum of a month, probably 3 months, before anything starts happening. So, it's the trial of Field McConnell has started today. And, we'll just have to go over things on a daily basis as they happen or don't happen, both within the court system and on the outside, to see just exactly where we're going with this. But the one thing that should come out, one thing that should be remembered, is that while Field McConnell is sitting in jail, trying to figure out his next move, try to figure out if he's going to be able to come up with this $100,000 bond, or if he's going to have to live with the fact that he's going to be in jail until this is all over. Nobody around Field McConnell is in the same situation. Everybody's living their lives, going to work, going to the beach, playing golf, whatever it is you people do out there. But nobody's in jail but Field McConnell. Field McConnell's the only one out of all these people. And the one person that started all this, that got Field McConnell in this situation, is sitting on a recliner, eating popcorn, watching a 65-inch TV. He's cuddled up with his new companion. He's writing his conspiracy theories on Facebook and elsewhere. He's having the time of his life while Phil McConnell sits in jail. All these people, the person in Hawaii, the neighbor next door, none of these people are in jail. None of these people are paying the price for shooting their mouths off, for putting the safety and security of a mother of 3 children at risk. None of these people are paying the price for that. Phil McConnell's the scapegoat. Phil McConnell's the sacrificial lamb. He's the one that got thrown to the wolves. They said, okay, Phil, you fall on the sword for us. We'll give you thoughts and prayers. That's what Phil McConnell has right now. Thoughts and prayers. That's all he has. Thoughts and prayers. Plenty of those going around. We'll pray for Phil. Pray for Field. God help Field. Going to take a boatload of prayers to get Field out of this one. You know, all through his journey to this point, Field McConnell had ample opportunity to get out of this mess. Had plenty of opportunity. At any time during this journey, Field McConnell could have done something to get out of his mess. In the beginning, when the injunction was served on Field McConnell, he could have dropped the matter. He could have said, okay, I've said my piece. I'm not going to talk about Kim anymore. I'm not going to make any threats. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to shut up about her. I'm going to move on to the other things. I can work around this. You know, no violent threats, none of that. You know, any number of things that Field McConnell could have done in that October day to avoid going to jail. But he couldn't let go. God gave him his first chance right there. Since we're talking about God and all these chances. Now, when stage 2 happened, where Field McConnell got arrested, was in the Pierce County Jail, he could have said, okay, I realize I messed up. I want to be given a chance. I'll throw myself on the mercy. Now, he could have gone out and got himself a competent lawyer at that point, right then and there. The minute he was arrested, he could have gotten a lawyer. Might have been able to get out on bond in his home state. He got a lawyer that knew the law and possibly find a loophole to where he could wear an ankle bracelet or do something in the state of Wisconsin while he was fighting extradition. But no. He listened to Kirk Pendergrass, listened to the Postmaster of the World, all these other crackpots. He did the daily jailhouse things, got himself into trouble with that, got his phone privileges taken away, got put into lockdown, got back out, lasted a few days, did the same thing again, got his phone privileges taken away, had him lifted only a few days before Pierce County was going to get rid of him. All these times, at any point in all this, Field McConnell could have gone out, got himself a good criminal defense attorney, either in the state of Florida or in the state of Wisconsin, and could have done a mea culpa and begged Kim in the courts in Florida for mercy. Say, look, I screwed up. I'll sign a statement. I'll do whatever it is. Get me out of this. Let me live out the rest of my life in peace. I promise I won't mention her anymore. I won't say a thing about this, that, or the other thing. What is it going to take? Hit me with probation or something? You know, there's any number of things that Field McConnell could have done to get himself out of this mess. But no. He decided to be this stubborn old fool that he was going to take this fight to the end. And that's what he's doing. You know, God has given him all these opportunities. And he's turned them down. Because of what? Pride. He's too prideful. You know, the Bible talks about that. About pride. But he has another chance. You know, he could walk into court tomorrow and say, you know, I've had time to think, Your Honor. I've had time to contemplate my actions, and I really want to know if there's a way I can mitigate the situation. I'd like to plead nolo contendere, throw myself on the mercy of the court. I promise that I won't bother this woman anymore. I won't mention her anymore. I'm 70 years old. I just want to go home, settle my affairs up there, maybe go over to Northern Ireland, and live out the rest of my life in peace, which is what he should have done in the first place. But I want to retire. I just want to go away. I want to be forgotten. If Ian McConnell had done that at any one of these stages, he said that Trump wanted him to retire. Or didn't, he wanted to retire, but Trump wouldn't let him. Maybe he shouldn't have listened to Trump. Of course, Trump wasn't involved anyway. But maybe he should have retired. Maybe God was telling him to retire. God was saying, look, Field, you've done enough. Just go over, be with Denise, live in peace. Go over to the cliffs of Dover and watch the seagulls or something. But, give it up. You fought the good fight. It's time for someone else to take the reins. Why didn't Field do that? Why didn't Field do that? I don't know. I don't know what it was that caused Field to continue this foolish nonsense, this waste of a good life. Field McConnell had what a lot of people would kill for. He had a nice house, big farm, was producing revenue, had a hell of a collection of cars, beautiful collection of cars. Had all kinds of stuff. He had it, had a nice big pension. He's got a pension out there. He's got a lovely wife that's devoted to him, that's put up with all this. He could have had it made. The American dream. Gone overseas, had a good old time. But no. Somewhere along the line, he went down a dark path. He got involved in hatred. Because that's basically what it is. It's hatred. He hates his sister. He hates the people that his sister associates with, namely the Democrats. Hates Hillary. A lot of people hate Hillary. And then he hated Kim. Now, he may say, no, I don't hate Kim. Then why'd you want to make all these threats against Kim? Use some silly excuse like she's part of all this crap that you talked about on your show that Tim Holmseth filled your mind full of? No, that's hate. This is what hate does to people, You hate somebody. You get obsessed with somebody. And you get on a dark path. And this is what Field McConnell did. He went down a dark path. So, now, this is where Field McConnell is at. He's having to face justice, face the court, face public scrutiny over what he's done. Because his transgressions, the acts that he did that were confined to just a few people on the internet, is now going to be out there for the general public to look at. This is going to feel a lot of unwanted attention, because now you're on the turf of an award-winning attorney. Kim Picazio's won some awards, professional awards. She's one of the top lawyers in Florida in her field of practice. People know Kim Picazio. People know the law firm and the people that work for Kim Picazio. Kim Picazio is not some unemployed housewife in a small house or mobile home raising the 3 kids. She's a celebrity. She's appeared on television. She's important. Bill McConnell is just some old fart with a conspiracy theory website that decided to make threats that put Kim Pacazio's life in danger. And so he got hit with a felony. He got hit with the kind of felony a wife beater gets hit with. And when this hits the court, and the name of the victim comes out, because Florida is one of these states where public information is paramount. We don't hide things in Florida. We don't seal things in Florida. It's going to be an open case. It's going to be an open trial. Everybody's going to know everything. And it's going to be, it's hard to say what the local media is going to do with this. This is Fort Lauderdale. The Sun Sentinel's a major newspaper in Florida. So when the name of the person and the occupation of the person who's the victim in this case comes out, there's no telling what's going to happen. And this isn't going to do Phil McConnell any favors, because this is a jury pool we're talking about in Broward County. Now, people that would be potential jurors in this case are going to hear about it. So that's going to open that can of worms up. If Phil McConnell decides he wants a bench trial, that's a gamble in itself, because the judge has to go by the law. And the law is not going to include Kirk Pendergrass's version of it. There's not going to be any of these admiralty courts or barges and dry docks or any of this crap. Judge isn't going to have any part of it. The judge says, nope, we're not going down that road. You're going to stick to the law that this court recognizes. The judge is going to make that perfectly clear the minute Phil McConnell opens his mouth and starts talking about this crap. The judge is going to say, you can look at that Black's Law book all you want, but that's not going to help you out here. And the judge is going to suggest to Phil McConnell that he better get a bar-qualified lawyer, whether it be a public defender or he goes out and hires one on his own. And this is another problem. And I've mentioned this before, and I'm going to mention it again over and over again until people get this clear. If Phil McConnell decides that he needs a public defender, then he's got to fill out a financial statement. And the minute he puts down that he's getting a pension from his days as a pilot, the judge is going to say, you're not qualified. Because you have to be dirt poor to get a public defender. You just don't walk in a court and say, yeah, I want a public defender. Yeah, sure, I make $50,000 a year on pilot pension. I got a $500,000 farm sitting up in Wisconsin with another $500,000 worth of cars sitting in the garage. If I need a public defender, well, the judge's going to go, nope. You need to sell some of them damn cars, and you need to draw some of that money from that pension and hire yourself a competent attorney, because you ain't getting no damn public defender. Now, if you want to represent yourself, knock yourself out. So Phil McConnell did not have a very good day today. And those out there, they're scratching their heads wondering why only one count in the $100,000 bond. That's because that's what the state's going to go with. That's enough. The one count's enough to crucify Phil McConnell. If Phil McConnell is found guilty on the one felony count, he is now a convicted felon. He loses some rights. He may lose a Second Amendment right. He may not be able to have guns in his house. both in the state of Florida and in Wisconsin. I mean, his days of having the Second Amendment are done. He's not going to be able to vote. I don't know what the laws are about convicted felons in the state of Wisconsin. If he stays in Florida, he might be able to vote. But he sure as hell ain't voting in the next election if he's adjudicated guilty, because he's going to be in jail in November of 2020. So he ain't going to be able to vote for Donald Trump. So Donald Trump just lost a vote. Just like Tim Homestead can't vote for Donald Trump because Timothy Homestead doesn't have a residency. Technically, he's a man without a state. Because he doesn't, when you go to vote, you have to show that you're actually living in the state. And if Tim Homestead does not have an apartment in Pierce County, he can't legally vote. He'd be in violation of the law because he's not a resident of Pierce County anymore. He's not a resident of any place. He's running around. He's basically homeless. He's dependent on other people for a place to sleep, eat, take a shower once a month or whenever he decides to take one, and so on. So, these people that want to vote for Donald J. Trump ain't going to be able to vote for him for one reason or another. So there's that. There's all kinds of things that you lose when you're convicted of a felony. And technically, it's a sex offense. I don't think it's going to go that far. I don't think he'll be listed as a sex offender. That'd be interesting if he was, but no, I don't think it's going to go that far. Hell of a thing to contemplate, isn't it? But at the very least, he's going to have that jacket. People want to do a biography of Phil McConnell. They're going to read where he was convicted of abusing a woman. What a thing to be convicted of. Picking on a woman, disrespecting a woman, the mother of 3 children, based on what? Accusations of an unemployed pizza delivery driver, a conspiracy theorist, a guy that was rejected by this woman way back when. That's the sad thing about all this. This is when all this started. It's because Timothy Charles Homestead got rejected. He wanted to be a big shot reporter involved in one of the most important missing child cases in Florida's history. And he got turned down. This high and mighty big shot attorney from Broward County, Florida, told Tim Homestead to get lost. Go away. We don't want you. That's how all this started. This is what got Phil McConnell in jail. Because of some immature little brat that couldn't take no for an answer. And Phil McConnell was too much of an old fart to use common sense and to understand that this was not a fight worth fighting. That he got involved in something that wasn't worth getting involved in. And now as the days go forward, we're going to see what the result is of Phil McConnell getting involved with Timothy Charles Homestead and just how much more damage is going to be done to Phil McConnell as the days pass. This is William K. Murtaugh, Mert Witness 1. Have a good one.